Good day, everybody. Father Neal, the rector of the cathedral. We find ourselves now in the middle of August, the 16th of August, and it's been a wonderfully warm and sunny summer. Thank God we've been able to enjoy being outside after our long winter, and we know that the fall is approaching and we face certainly many challenges to ourselves and to so many of our family and friends, especially parents getting their kids ready to go back to school. One thing I worry about these days is that it seems like more and more people are experiencing depression because of the pandemic and other reasons too. And in previous pocket homilies, I have stressed mindfulness meditation, and today I would like to encourage us to think about centering prayer. Father Thomas Keating is the founder of the centering prayer method back in the 1970s with his acclaimed book, Centering Prayer and Inner Awakening. Centering prayer is a simple, no-frills form of meditation in the Catholic Christian tradition. Now, meditation in general is about healing and quieting our busy minds. And centering prayer is a method of meditation that does this, but also it connects us to a much deeper experience of our God. So both mindfulness meditation and centering prayer, what they aim at doing is breaking the vicious circle of our compulsive thinking. There's a great cartoon in the New Yorker where there's a car crossing the Utah desert, and there's a sign on the side of the road that says, "Your own tedious thoughts, the next 200 miles. And that reminds me of a remark that Mark Twain once made when he said, "My life was filled with terrible misfortune, most of which never happened." So our tedious thoughts, thinking about misfortunes that most of the time never happen. So in order to cope with the fall and the challenge that we will face, we need to get grounded, we need to get centered. And certainly mindfulness meditation and centering prayer are both forms of helping us to do that. And what they help us do is release the thoughts, the compulsive thoughts, promptly before they get a stronghold in our mind. Now, so many people believe that they can't meditate or that they can't do centering prayer, but it's much more simple than you think, and everyone can do it. It's about when we notice that we're getting caught up in our thoughts, that we go back to, in mindfulness meditation, our breathing. In centering prayer, what Father Keating talks about is having a sacred word or a sacred phrase that we focus on. And the sacred word could be Jesus, or the sacred phrase could be still and know that I am God. And we simply sit quietly, and we can say that word, sacred word, over and over again, and when our mind goes off, we just come back to saying that sacred word or that phrase, be still and know that I am God. Just repeating that. And with the phrase, we can drop a word off at the end every time we say it. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know. Be still. Be. And we repeat that over and over again, especially when our thoughts take over and we become aware of that. We simply go back to the phrase saying Jesu or compassion or surrender. Father Keating gives us 4 simple guidelines. The first is to choose a word or a sacred phrase. My special word that I use all the time is Jesu, and the phrase I like is be still and know that I am God, because that gives our consent to God's presence and action within us. Secondly, Father Keating says that we should sit comfortably with eyes closed, we settle in, and we silently introduce that word as the symbol of our consent to God's presence and God's action within each one of us. Thirdly, he says, when we become aware of thoughts, we just return ever so gently to that sacred word or phrase, not judging ourselves. Just the coming back to that word, the coming back to that phrase is what the meditation, the centering prayer is all about. And then he says at the end of the prayer period, just remain in silence with our eyes closed for a couple of minutes. Now, the ideal is to work up to 20 minutes and to try to do it twice a day, but take it slowly. Do 5 minutes, do then 10 minutes, and work on it and work up to that time. And it can be especially healing for all of us. And just remember, our minds will wander constantly. And it's the awareness of this happening and the returning to the sacred word or phrase that centering prayer is all about. Now, you can purchase Father Keating's book or go online, go on the internet and look up centering prayer or mindfulness meditation, and there's a lot of stuff on the internet. So as we are in the middle of August, still enjoying these beautiful sunny and warm days, let us just be aware that we need to plan ahead for some coping strategies to be able to deal with the challenges that we face this fall, to get grounded and to get centered, to get out of our what we call monkey mind, where we obsess over things that will never happen, to get more reflective and more connected to our God. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Let us pray for each other so that we continue to be healthy and safe. Thanks, everybody.